Hello, my name is Patrik Maryniak and we are gonna talk about how to grade differently. Welcome. This session is gonna be more technical, mostly about color spaces, how to prepare your footage, and about creative new tools which can help you to get better results. At the beginning, this presentation is not about that you do things bad or good. It's just the different point of view about how to work with your files and how to prepare your color grade project. I'm gonna show you these tips and tricks in DaVinci Resolve because it's the most common color grading tool. But I think you can use these tips in your color grading software as well as in DaVinci Resolve. So the first thing I do when I open DaVinci Resolve is just change these color signs from DaVinci to DaVinci Color Managed. Because if you don't do this, you have no control about your colors and color space itself. Here are the settings you want. Here's the input color space transform, timeline color space, and the output color space. I really want you to check this to DCI-P3 or something else with wider color range, because as you can see, this is the regular Rec 709, which is the default color space for the most of the TVs, but you are cut out of your data. So you can use the really wide Rec 2020. Or if you have enough time for setup, you can use ACES. So for this moment, I set no input transform, timeline color space DCI-P3, and output color space is set to Rec 709. The default input color transform is the great way to convert your things. It's nice and easy. The DaVinci Resolve is converting everything automatically. But it works only if you have all files the same color space and the same gamma. But just imagine that you have a project that is almost done, but at the end of the project somebody add new shot to your cut, and that new shot is the different color space or different gamma. Your input color transform is just useless. So turn it off and I will show you how to deal with this problem. As you can see, your grade is absolutely broken now. So we can transform our shots two other ways. Use the LUTs, which are not the greatest way to transfer your things, because this solution cut so much of your data from your footage. So we can use another solution to use color space transform, which is here in OpenFX. And we will apply color space transform directly to our shots as well as with the LUTs, but this is the correct way, which will not cut your data out of your footage. And as you can see, your footage is and we can edit our new shot separately out of other ARRI shots, and their grade is still consistent. Just let me show you extreme case. For example, if you have DPX array log, some stock footage, Rec 709 or sRGB, Blackmagic RAW, then we have some reference Rec 709 clip, Apple ProRes, which is Blackmagic log, some Fuji F log, and the last one is the old one, array file. So the most basic way how to match the clips is to take a gain and lift to correct balances with the reference shot and match colors thanks to vector scope as well as the exposure by the waveform. You can match colors by using old school temperature and tint, or you can use the new tool called Color Wrapper, which is pretty cool. Let me show you. So this is the basic correction with temp. Okay, and as you can see in vector scope, we are getting close to our reference shot. And then the other way to use color wrapper, as you can see, it's really fast and simple. and you have absolute control over the colors. You can see the representation of vector scope as well in color wrapper. That's why I really like this tool. Okay, but this wasn't just the brute force way how to make our shots to look correct. So let's try again our OpenFX color space transform. So first one is array log C with array Alexa color space. Second one is the simple sRGB. The third one is the Blackmagic Raw, so we can just use color space transform, but we need to edit camera raw settings, which is pretty cool. The next one is the classic MOV file. Next one is the reference, which is the Rec 709. This is the brute force way to match the shots, so we do nothing here. Then we have our F-log. And then we have our old school array file, which is as well as the first file, array Alexa, array log C. So as you can see, all these shots to the same color space, and we can do some work on this project now. So I have my array files corrected by color space transform, and all three shots, which are array Alexa, are grouped to same group. So our color transform takes effect only on these three shots, and our first one is the Blackmagic Raw, which can be graded separately. So first thing I do is something like creating preset of my basic correction for every single clip, which is like first one exposure, second something about contrast of the video, and the last one is something like colors or temperature and so on. And then I correct every single shot to the same balance, and then I use the timeline, and then I use timeline grade for searching some look of this video and do some grade. But at first, let me do some corrections. And the next great tip is right here. As you can see, I can do the most of the corrections with primary wheels, and as well as with new HDR tools. I use very often new HDR primary wheels, which you can see here, and there I use mostly a global exposure wheel, which is the most accurate to the camera exposure. The next one which I use is to manage the light parts and the highlights of the shot, because these tools are really soft and comfortable to use if you have some really bright places. As you can see, you have something like previews of your mask or which area you are affecting. So it's really helpful tool. Even if you do not work on HDR project, you can use this primary HDR wheels on your SDR content. So the basic corrections, okay, 1, 2, 3, and then I will create timeline grades, which names are never same in my projects, because it's mostly like how I feel about that grade. So I will give it name as I feel it at that moment. So I will put the sky a little bit down so we can feel some structure and highlights. Then a little bit correct the contrast one more time. And then in timeline grade, which is our grading, not the first basic correction, but this is the real grade. Here I do some artistic corrections I want to see in this video. So I push some darks with first note. The second one is like the last correction before my color grade, and the third one and the colors and me playing with colors. For example, as you can see, I really like to work with color wrapper, and we can try to do some teal and orange look in this video, which is really popular at these days. Yeah, this looks nice. Oh, a little bit too warm. Okay, here we can a little bit put down our saturation. This is too much. Okay, this looks nice. Okay. And as you can see, this is over. We're done. So here you could see some, I believe, useful tips for your work and some ways how to not lose your data from your footage before you even start to do some color grade, and some tips how to use few tools in DaVinci Resolve which can help you to get some better results. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Okay, thank you. Come again. Bye.